Hi students, welcome to virtual class of Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai. I am Sreekumar. The class is for 8th standard students. Subject is mathematics. Let me begin the class. Dear students, we are entering into a new chapter number 15, area. The term area is not that new for you, I know it very well. You have studied about the concept of area in 6th standard, where you studied about the area of square, area of a rectangle, where square is equal to side square, and that of a rectangle is equal to length into breadth, that you studied when you were in 6th standard. Correct? And when you reach to 7th standard, you studied about the area of right angled triangle using Pythagoras theorem. Also studied about area of any triangle, which is equal to half into base into height. Just to recall, area of the square is equal to side square, means all the sides are equal, so naturally the side will be same in all cases. If you are denoting it as a, it will be a all over, and all the four sides, and you will write a square or side square. If you denote this as length and this as breadth, then you will write it as L into B. And here this is base and this is height, and this is what is hypotenuse. Hypotenuse will be that side which is opposite to the right angle. All these things you know. Any one of the side can be base and height, the perpendicular sides, the product of the sides making right angle. This is the formula. When it comes to it should be a standard here. When it comes to any triangle, this is a right angled triangle, this is an isosceles or equilateral triangle. Any triangle, the formula is half base into height, where base is any one side, height is calculated by showing the perpendicular drawn from the opposite vertex to that side. In this case, here in this case, I will change the color of the pen. In the case, yellow color can be seen. In this case, the line drawn from the opposite vertex to the base, this will be the height. Whichever side you can take as base, and you will draw a perpendicular from the opposite side to that base, then this will be the, if you are considering the other side as base. So all these things are revision and it is known to you. Let us try to understand what is in this chapter. This chapter is about area of a parallelogram. Oh, what is a parallelogram? The word parallel is having a meaning that parallel lines you studied. Parallel lines are those two lines or many lines. These are parallel lines. You can see in the screen also some parallel lines. This is a parallelogram. What is a parallel line? I was trying to make you understand. Okay, the problem is my pen color is still yellow. I was wondering where is my pen. Okay. See, in the corner of the screen itself, you can see certain line. These are parallel lines. What are parallel lines? Parallel lines are non-intersecting lines. They will not intersect. They will not meet. These are not parallel lines. These are parallel lines. So what is a parallelogram? Parallelogram will be having opposite sides parallel. Look here, this one and this one parallel, this one and this one parallel. What all peculiarities are there? Opposite angles will be congruent. This is equal to this angle. Opposite sides are congruent. The length of this side will be equal to this side will be equal to this. Such a figure is named as parallelogram. Now we are going to study about area of a parallelogram. We know what? We know the square, the area is calculated by side square, as already I told. In the case of a rectangle, the area is calculated by length into breadth. In the case of a right angle, the area is calculated by half into the product of the sides making right angle. And in any triangle, it is base into height. This much we know. Itna humko malum hai. Now this is a parallelogram. Parallelogram is a four-sided closed figure having opposite sides parallel, opposite angles equal, opposite sides equal and even square and rectangle जो हमने last year पढ़ा है, square and rectangle are also parallelograms. तो फिर ये क्या है, difference क्या है? In the case of a rectangle, all four sides, all four angles are right angle. In the case of square also, all four angles are right angle. I will go back and show you. See, all these angles are right angle. All the angles are right angle. Here also, this angle, in the case of rectangle, all are right angle. Right angle means 90 degree. But in parallelogram, it is not like that. In rectangle also, opposite angles are congruent, opposite sides are congruent, opposite sides are parallel, opposite sides are equal also. Square also it is applicable. Parallelogram is also that means square and rectangle are also parallelograms. So square का formula इधर apply नहीं हो सकता है. Why? In the case of square, all sides are equal. So area में difference आएगा. In the case of rectangle, opposite sides are equal and the other two sides, as it is becoming a rectangle, the perpendicular nature, 90 degree nature gives us the height of it. So here there is an issue of height of it. So what we are going to do is a parallelogram का area find out करना है. हम practically find out करेंगे, फिर उसमें से फॉर्मूला डेवलप करेंगे. फॉर्मूला तो इधर लिख के रखा है, बेस इंटू हाइट. तो ये बेस होगा, तो फिर हाइट क्या है? तो हाइट क्या है? हाइट ढूंढना पड़ता है. सो दिस इज ए पैरेललोग्राम. आई एम गोइंग टू डू सम कट पेस्ट इन द केस ऑफ पैरेललोग्राम. आई एम गोइंग टू cut the parallelogram here. I have drawn a line and just cut it. Take that piece and bring it to the other side. Look, understood? I will once again show you. I made a cut here and I took that piece to the other side, and to my wonder and your wonder, it exactly fits there, barabar right there. So this became the height. Why? Because it became a rectangle now. In the case of rectangle, this became 90 degree here, this became 90 degree here. So this is 90 degree here. Naturally, this is 90 degree here. You can apply the formula height here. But how to get this height? To get this height, you should know the distance between these two parallel sides. That will be the height, my dear students. That will be the height. Understood? Let me do something more for you. Here is a parallelogram. If I wish to calculate the area of this parallelogram, I should know the length of this base. This is also same base. Correct? Either the length of it. But if I consider the parallelogram in the other way, what does it mean other way? मैं दिखाता हूँ. Suppose that I think here I will get a parallelogram in the ready-made tool. Let me see. Yes, there is a parallelogram for my luck. This is also a parallelogram. This is 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 a parallelogram. And all these are parallel. Let me draw a number of parallelograms, then I will understand. All these are parallelograms. This is also a parallelogram. So when we consider the height of this parallelogram, you should take any side as base. Suppose that if I am taking this parallelogram, one second, yes, I am taking an arrow mark for the convenience of understanding it easily and changing its color to see it quickly. Suppose that if I am taking this side as base, this side as base, तो फिर height क्या होगा? Then the height must be from here to here. Sorry, I will take this and draw. The height must be a perpendicular drawn from this base to the height. But the base is having an inclination. correct? But one should understand the height must be from the base to the opposite side. So I will show you it in the first case. Here I will be drawing a base over here. I will show you. I will be drawing a height over here now. See, I have drawn a height here. Changing the color so that you can see. You can see the height is drawn here. See, this is the height. If I am considering this as base, considering this as base, considering this as base. 1 second. Here it is. And if I consider this side, you can draw base over here. And if I consider this side as base, I have to find out the height. In order to find out the height, I should extend and find out the height. It's a this. Sorry. When consider here 90 degree, here it is 90 degree. So that will be the height, considering this as base. So which side to be considered as base is up to you. All these are parallelogram. But height is the distance between the two parallel sides. Considering one side as the base, the distance to the opposite side will be, perpendicular distance will be the height. This basic principle you should keep in mind while addressing the area of a parallelogram. Because normally whenever we draw a parallelogram, or whenever a textbook is giving you the diagram of a parallelogram, it's our nature, or we normally give it in such a way that, 1 second, just like in your textbook as I have drawn here, normally a figure like this comes in our mind. A figure like this comes in our mind. Understood? But doesn't mean that this is also a parallelogram. This way it can be. This is what I want to tell you clearly. And consider this as base, then this will be, height will be measured by the distance between the parallel side. And your questions in your textbook clearly tells about it. And whenever you are solving the sums, you will be drawing a simple parallelogram, a rough parallelogram, and will solve the sum so that it won't go wrong. Understood? So let me remove all this what I have done on the screen and go ahead. Let me turn to your textbook. If base of a parallelogram, base is given as base in a parallelogram is 8 cm, height is 5 cm, then find its area. It will be a simple straightaway question, because you know the formula to find out the area of a parallelogram. You will simply apply that formula and will say that area of the parallelogram is calculated by base into height, and you will simply apply whatever is given and will get the answer. In this case, you will be applying it as 8 cm base and 5 cm height, and you will be writing it as 40 square centimeter or centimeter square. Simple straight question. Sometimes the question will not be as simple and straight like this. Accordingly, you will address it and solve. That is up to your common sense. If the base of the parallelogram is 8 cm, height is 5 cm, find its area. Again, the same question came. Sorry. If the area of a parallelogram is 112 square centimeter, base of it is 10 centimeter, then find its height. Simply, area is given, you are asked to find out the height of the parallelogram. So it will be again substituting in the formula where you will be substituting area of parallelogram. Parallelogram can be written like this: area of parallelogram is equal to base into height, where we are having area given as 112 square centimeter, base is given as 10 centimeter, height is not given. This is as simple like that. Then you will write 112 upon 10 is the height, and naturally height will be equal to 11.2. Unit is centimeters, so it will be centimeter. Area will be mentioned in square centimeters, and height and base will be mentioned in centimeter. That's all. I don't think these are tough things for you. Only thing is that you learned a new figure and a new area formula, what is called as area of a parallelogram. As I told you, sometime your question will be different, sometime the parallelogram will be different. I just want to introduce you the next concept of this, what we say, parallelogram concept can be changed into a concept of rhombus. Now let us consider a rhombus. Rhombus is also a parallelogram. I told rectangle is a parallelogram, square is a parallelogram, but we know how to calculate the area of it. The area of parallelogram, just now we found that can be calculated simply by multiplying base into height. Base is not a problem. Height we need to draw a perpendicular to the opposite side of the base, which is parallel to it. Now here comes rhombus. What is the difference between a rhombus and a parallelogram is that rhombus will be having all four sides equal. This is equal to this, this is equal to this, this is equal to this. Now finding out the area of a rhombus, if base and height are given, we can calculate, but it will not be given. Then how can we calculate? The peculiarity of rhombus is that rhombus is having all sides equal, opposites angle equal, opposite sides are equal, and all these parallelogram properties are applicable. The special property of rhombus is that, let me show you. If you draw the diagonals of a rhombus, one diagonal, the other diagonal. These two diagonals make right angles here. That means we made 1, 2, 3, 4 right angles. Another peculiarity, the diagonals are not equal. Let us name this as D1 and let this as D2, two different diagonals. Now, these diagonals divide here equally at right angle. The peculiarity that this piece is equal to this, this part is equal to this. Suppose that if I name this particular rhombus as A, B, C, D for convenience, and the center as P, and divide this into 4, name this into 4 triangles, some interesting things will come out. What is that? If I say length of AC, which I have marked as D2, it is, and the length of BD, which I have marked as D1. Understood? In the case of the rhombus, if I name the named as ABCD, we know that length of AC, which is equal to D2, very clearly. If I consider length of AP, look here, this one, from here to here, it is equal to length of AP, which is equal to length of PC, because diagonals are bisected here, half mein hai, which is equal to half of length of AC. Clear? Consider, keep this in mind. Which is equal to D2 upon 2. The same way, the length of BP, which is equal to from here to here, which is equal to length of PD, which is equal to half of length of BD is equal to D1 upon 2. Keep this also in mind. Now we can see 4 triangles. In that 4 triangle, the area of right angled triangle area is equal to half into the product of sides forming right angle. Correct? So here what happens is, in every triangle you are having D2 upon 2 as one side, D1 upon 2 as other side. This part is, I will take another color if possible, green. This is D1 upon 2, this is D1 upon 2, this is D2 upon 2, this is D2 upon 2, because this is dividing equally. So in every triangle it is formed by, each side is formed by D1 upon 2 and other side is formed by D2 upon 2. So according to this formula, half into D1 upon 2, that is one side, into D2 upon 2 will be the area of one triangle. Such how many triangles are there? Such 4 triangles are there. Correct? Which makes the area of rhombus ABCD. If you solve all this, what will happen? 2 times, again 2 get cancelled. You will get D1 into D2 upon 2 as formula of area of rhombus. How will we write that? Area of rhombus. What is it? Area of rhombus is calculated by the formula D1 D2 upon 2. In writing, half into product of length of diagonals, my dear students. This is the learning now. This is the learning now. What is it? I will draw a rhombus and show you once, tell you once again the formula to calculate the area of, this is a rhombus, and in the rhombus we found that the rhombus will be having its own diagonals like this, and the diagonals are equal each other, dividing each other at right angle at the center. And if we name this as D1, this as D2, half of it is D2 upon 2 here, D2 upon 2 here, because this is equal to this. This is equal to this, so this is equal to D1 upon 2 and this is also equal to D1 upon 2. And all these are right angle having side D1 upon 2 each other. So the area of 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles together will make the area of the rhombus ABCD. If I say, this is what I did, making it once again for you, is equal to 4 into the area of triangle. Area of one triangle we should find out. 4 into area of one triangle is equal to half into D1 upon 2 into D2 upon 2. By solving we got D1 into D2 upon 2. So we wrote half into the product of length of D1 and D2 are diagonal. Length of diagonals is the formula to find out the area of a rhombus. Area of a rhombus. The area can be calculated by the formula product half into the product of length of diagonals. So what you studied in this video is that two things you studied. One thing is the area of parallelogram is calculated by base into height, and the other thing, area of rhombus is calculated by the formula half into d1 into d2, where d1 and d2 are diagonals. My dear student, simply apply this common sense and the earlier knowledge of square. The area is equal, all are about area is equal to side square of rectangle. The area is length into breadth of triangle. It is half base into height. All these first one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, all the formula of area together will help you to solve the problems in this chapter. Do it yourself, okay, and become strong. Thank you.
Now click on the subscription button below to subscribe the channel, then the bell button to get the notifications of the new videos. Thank you.